Okay, I'm gonna pass the video to Stratus so he can show you what the game plan is.
All right, David. So, as we know, we have some rotting issues in the transom. The inside face of the transom, which is right in here, is all made with plywood. It's kind of hard to see with this light, but it's completely rotten. It's hollow. This piece in here should be flush with plywood and fiberglass. That is not the case. What we're going to do is we're going to cut the exterior surface of the transom, which is this piece here, up to the green line. I'm going to leave a flange in for a tie-in when we replace the inner core with new material, and then we're going to piece this back on. We're going to leave the center of the transom in place, so where the end of the green line is, tape line here, that's going to be cut out, and this is going to be part of the original boat. These holes are going to get filled up. What we're going to do is we're going to remove the rotten plywood from the inside by gaining access from this panel removed on the port and on the starboard side as well. I'm going to scarf in a new piece in here, bond this all back together, and then once this part is completed, we're going to put this piece back, fiberglass it to a tabbing, joining onto the 6-inch piece here, and then ferrying in the whole transom like it was nothing happened. And then on the end here, we're going to reinforce this part in here by having fiberglass extrusion so we can have the slide-in door that's going to be fabricated new. So I'm just going to line it all up, mark it out, and get the grinders going.
Thanks, Stratus.
You're live now?
We're live.
You're live. Okay, so this gap in here was filled with some sort of polyester filler. It might even look like it's epoxy. And basically it was stuffed in here like so to fill up this gap. So your stanchion base is basically bolted to this filler. So it doesn't give you a lot of strength. I just basically use a chisel this out. In order for us to access cutting this transom surface out, I need to relieve the filler on the edge here, and you can just see how that is all coming apart. So what they basically had here was a piece of, I think this is rubber, and it's just a piece of extrusion molding that was basically attached like this, holding your transom on with rivets. The rivets were going straight into the filler. There you can actually see the rivet right there, which has got no strength to it. So once the rivet goes inside, it creates like a crack. And you can see where it's kind of black in there. That's how you end up getting some moisture in there. So even if that was sealed from day one, this would have been weeping water in here. Also, I noticed with the stanchion, mast stanchion, the placement was in here, and there was a gap in here that was never filled with caulking. So that's another exit for moisture to get in. So that is basically what causes this rotting. It's all in here. And you can see the piece of wood in there, and it looks like it's all rotted out.
Yeah, it is.
So basically now I'm just going to get suited up, get the cutting saw out, and basically cut out this transom piece. The starboard piece will come out. We'll do the same with the port side. Leave the center piece, because we have the serial number, that identification hull number, that needs to be left there. We're going to leave this piece part of the existing transom corners, give us some shape, and do this repair from the inside by having access of removing the port and starboard transom panels. I'm just going to go get suited up. If you bring the video here, David, you can see on this angle through the vent hole the black plywood. And this is another example. This hole here is supposed to be a vent facing forward, like a dory, classic dory. Water, air coming through here, but also when the boat's heeled over, moisture is coming through here and filling up the back of the boat.
So we're going to be sealing all that up.
So we're going to fiberglass all this up and figure out a different method of getting fresh air into the motor compartment.
Are you ready for the moment, sir?
Let's see the damage.
Alright, so we're just going to cut this open. Just cut with the machine. There's the rust.
Oh my goodness.
As you can see, we only had,
We only had plywood on the top and partially down the side and down the edge. The center is clean. And you can actually see where the stanchion bases were. Fittings and the screw hole was going into the plywood, which created this partially created the rotting wood.
Look at that.
Okay, I guess there's foam in here. Okay, so now that we've cut this piece out, the transom starboard side, here's where the mast chain plate was, the aft shrouds. And this piece of wood in here is completely rotten. I just get one push on it with my finger, and that's your backing plate. Completely rotten. So you can see now the inside here between the hull and deck is very tight in here, and there's no way that you'll be able to put any sort of backing plate in here being this tight. And this is why we've decided to cut out the aft end of the transom, gain access, clean this all up, and put in the proper core material to make this transom strong again. When we get to this point here now, you can see here that they've put in some filler and they've wrapped fiberglass over here. This would have been on the hull side before the deck went on. And then it looks like they just bonded this piece in here with some bog, some structural putty or some filler with some fiber or something. So this is all got to come off to get reglassed. This is filler with wood in here.
Okay.
It's kind of the same as this side over here. If you look at the top side over here, you can see where this is wood here.
Gotcha.
With fiberglass wrapped over it. So that basically is that for today. I'm just going to cut the other side. And then we're going to do a bit of cleanup in here. And let's see where there's some filler here. It fell inside. This must have been
On the top.
on the top. Some rivet holes in here, so it must have been somewhere like this. Just fell out. Completely rotten. Looks like it's been, you know, a problem for many years. It's dry rot. Some moisture in it. The boat's been in the shop for how many months now, and there's still moisture in it.
There you go, same problem. You can actually see here how rotten this is.
Look at that.
Next you can see where the rivet is. There's a fastener of some sort, probably from the chain plate.
Yes, it is.
The one you couldn't get out.
Wow.
Feels wet too.
It's been in the shop for 2 months,
It's
and
still
it's
wet.
still wet. Wow. It's what?
Mud.
Mud.
Bearing compound.
Wow.
It's probably a material called core bond. They use this poly bond. Those years, that's what they use. Fill in gaps. You can see all the black is where the moisture is coming through.